So a lot of people, they're asking, um, how are we gonna handle COVID-19, or how bad COVID-19 is. But this is what I'm gonna tell you. COVID-19 is not bad as you think. COVID-19, we're gonna work with it and we're gonna survive. Some people will lost their lives and some people will survive. But the good news is a lot of people will survive. But the bad news is, if you ask how bad COVID-19 is going to be, I'm going to tell you, you cannot compare COVID-19 to what's going to happen to you after COVID-19 goes away. The biggest problem is after COVID-19.
Do they call that the aftermath?
The aftermath. That's a good
Yeah,
way
that's
to
what
put
they
it.
call it.
Yeah, the aftermath. And the aftermath, when you wake up one day and they tell you, hey, we got the vaccine, we're ready to go, you go back to work. And now you're gonna see the courts open, government open, and all asking for their money. And the big problem will be the rents and the mortgage. Because the mortgage companies, they have so much money to take you to the courts. And they can't wait to take you to the courts, by the way. Hear me. They can't wait to take you to the courts. And I'll tell you why. Because this is the time when banks, they make money. And investors. It is some investors, that's what they're waiting for. Just to go and start buying those houses being taken by the mortgage. They love disasters because they make a ton of money of it. They buy houses with zero and they rent it to you for a lot of money. So who's going to pay the price? Always you. And why? Because you didn't do anything about it before when you're supposed to do something. As you see in nationwide, people asking to waive the rent, waive the mortgage. And guess what? They are right. Because if they tell you to stay home for 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, how are you supposed to pay this rent?
Right. No income.
No income. Now you got stuck between two things. You pay for the rent, or you save to feed your family. If you want my opinion, I'm going to feed my family first, and I'll deal with the rent after. But this is what I'm saying. After COVID-19, it's going to be worse than COVID-19. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be the worst thing can happen to a lot of people. And I mean a lot of people. Because today, it is millions and millions and millions of people nationwide. They did not pay for the rent and the mortgage. Not because they don't want to, because they can't. There is nowhere to bring the money. And it is the problem the government cannot tell you right now. Is it going to be okay in next month or 2 months? Themselves, they don't know. This means if they don't know, how can you gamble and you spend money on rent, car payments, utilities, and you have 3 kids they need to eat by the end of the day. And they're not going to wait. They're not waiting because they don't understand anything. They understand one thing, they need to eat. Can you blame the poor kids? They need to eat. They don't care. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand bankers' mortgage.
Yeah.
Which means, I'm going to repeat myself. And the repeat is good sometimes. After COVID-19, it's worse 10 times than COVID-19 right now. Because everyone want to take a bite of you. The government want taxes. Banks, they want the mortgage. Landlord, they want the rent. Everybody wants something. And who's going to fix this problem? Not you or me. No, the government. The government, they need to pay for the rent, they need to pay for the mortgage, they need to do something. Because this is not something you did or I did. We had no choice but to listen to them to stay home and close our doors, our businesses. Which means they need to go after China and get us paid. But till then, they need to cover up. And when they get paid, they can take the money they give us. That's the way I see it as a business person. But for the government to come up with 2.3 trillions and give it to the people, they don't need it. And this money is still sitting in the banks, by the way. Still sitting in the banks because they didn't open yet. Imagine you have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars sitting in the bank. For companies, they have no business so far. They still didn't open. And you, as a small business, you have zero. Zero. That's why you are nervous. That's why you are stressed. That's why you are going to get sick. That's why you are not going to think right. That's why you are desperate to open. But you are going in the wrong direction. You don't need to go and open. You need to go ask your representatives what happened to the money. If you are in a position of a power and you are leading us, we need you to go and ask why the poor people did not get anything. Because you don't need just food, you need more than that. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, I did say it before. They don't tell you what to eat. They need to give you your money and you go find food to eat. And I'll tell you something else, maybe you don't know. The 2.3 trillion went to something very stupid, believe it or not. Went to a multi-million-dollar companies. Went to companies that are in the stock market. Went to airplanes companies, went to cruise companies, went to hotel companies, went to, you name it. And these people are not broke. These people are filthy rich. Filthy rich. But the filthy rich, they taking advantage of everybody in the good days. Now he's taking advantage on the ugly days. This is not a bad days. This is the ugly days. Because this is never happened in the history. And even the 1%, they didn't give us a chance. They didn't forgive us. They did not sympathize. They hit us in the head. And they're laying back and watching. Hey, they can't do nothing about it. This means we were right. No matter what we do to them, they can't do nothing. They're so stupid, they're desperate, they want to go back to work. Believe me, they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. They're looking at you, you're the dumbest person on the earth. Instead asking for your tax money you're paying every year for the past 20 years, 30 years, you're asking to go back and work hard again because you're not thinking. Think about it. Think about it and let me know. And you have a great day and good luck.